Hello everyone, I apologize for the second week in a row that our race review is on Monday, but the last two Sundays have not been kind. Last week I was sick, and yesterday I was still somewhat sick, which is annoying, but there was more to it. Basically, lack of sleep, a lot of things happened. I missed the first stage and a half of the Texas race. I was struggling, and I had no energy at all to make the race review. I was able to catch the end of stage 2 and the end of the race with me lying basically motionless on my bed. So yeah, it was not very fun to say the least. But that is why I did not have a video ready yesterday. I'm feeling a lot better today, so that's good news. Hopefully I can have a good week of good videos. But today we're going to talk about the Texas race. Now, just so you guys know, I wasn't on Twitter. I don't really know the opinions of this race. Usually I do. Usually I understand what you guys thought of the race, what the majority of people thought of the race. Yesterday, not really. I wasn't on Twitter getting race updates. I kind of just missed literally the first 100 and something laps. So it was a little bit tough for me to kind of get a gist of how this race was overall. What I did see was basically all the chaos and the endless cautions of what happened yesterday. I don't have the exact number of cautions, but I think it was somewhere between 13 and 15, somewhere in there. A lot of cautions at Texas Motor Speedway. And a lot of the cautions kind of reminiscent of what you see at Texas Motor Speedway. And so initially, guys, let's talk about it. Was this race good? In my opinion, it's better than if it didn't have a lot of cautions. Honestly, in my opinion, if this race didn't have the incidents that it had, I would have been bored out of my mind. So actually, the racetrack being a terrible racetrack helped in the race being somewhat entertaining. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, this track with this car, mainly the track, is just a terrible combination. It's just a horribly constructed racetrack. And because of that, the drivers just were struggling. They were struggling terribly. The incident between Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin, but not just that. There was also incidents, I think, with Tyler Reddick, same kind of thing, where you get right behind the dirty air of another car. You get your left front fender kind of in that wake of air when when they're passing you and you try getting, and they try sliding up on you. And so it's very frustrating, but I mean, it was an entertaining race. Do you know what I mean? So basically what I'm trying to say is, if I was a driver, I would be really pissed off with the track that I had to drive and the car that we had to drive. But as a fan, that chaos element makes it pretty entertaining. I was thoroughly entertained the last 70 laps of that race because there was chaos happening everywhere on the restarts. Poor Kyle Larson loses a tire, goes 2 laps down, gets back on the lead lap, but has no hope in God's green earth of getting anywhere up towards the front because there's no way he's going to make his way up through the field with the amount of dirty air and traffic and chaos that ensues at Texas Motor Speedway. It's all up to preference, I don't know what the ratings are going to be like because, the Masters was on, obviously, on Sunday, which I didn't see because I was passed out on my bed, basically. So I missed Masters Sunday. You guys, I was very upset about that, The running order got all messed up with about 30 to go because a caution came out where I think about 13 drivers or 10 drivers were probably still staying out hoping for a caution. They got the caution, so that kind of messed up the whole running order. It kind of messed up the race results because of it. It was kind of chaotic, to say the least. It was all over the place, this race. You had incidents involving Alex Bowman earlier in the race, which I didn't see. I only saw that in the highlight because that was part of the race I missed. You had Bubba Wallace and Chase Briscoe wrecking when they were running second and third. The second place car this race basically wrecked 4 times. It was kind of crazy when you think about it. The restarts, again, crazy. It has everything to do with this track just being a terrible racetrack. It's a very bad racetrack. Let's just say it how it is. But it actually gave a somewhat entertaining race. So thank you to Texas Motor Speedway, I guess. But let's not get it twisted. I still stand by my point that I've been making for years. This racetrack needs to be demolished. It needs to be bulldozed. Every grain and piece of asphalt, every piece of metal in the grandstands needs to be burned to a crisp, and they need to start over. I despise this racetrack on so many levels. I think it is terribly constructed. I think it's terribly run. I think the owners of the racetrack, whether back in the day it was Eddie Gossage or even now, I just think everything about this racetrack is just horrible from how it is ran to how it is constructed. The only thing maybe it has is facilities, because I do hear from fans saying, yeah, the facilities are quite nice. That might be the only thing. In general, this racetrack is terrible. I do not want NASCAR going here until they demolish this racetrack and come up with something else. I don't know whatever they want to do, but the construction of this racetrack is horrible. So as I watch this race, just know that my opinion has that in mind, because I despise this race. So if I say if it was a good race, honestly, in my opinion, I would still say no. I don't think this is a good race. It's an entertaining race. It's chaos. It's 15 cautions. It's the element of just absolute chaos happening. That is what makes this race entertaining. It doesn't make it good. There's a very distinct difference. Something can be entertaining, but it can't be good. There's a lot of movies out there that are entertaining, but they ain't good movies. They're just entertaining for how their mistakes and their flaws and some of the issues with the movie makes it entertaining. That's kind of what NASCAR Texas is. Texas is not a good racetrack, hence not a good movie. However, there are things that happen at the race that make it entertaining. This was an entertaining race. Very entertaining, not good. I think it's very distinct there and what I mean. Hopefully I explained myself clearly. But the majority of this video, we're going to talk about the race winner, who is Chase Elliott. Yes, he breaks his winless streak. He wins. And because my race reviews have been messed up basically the last 2 weeks, the last time I really talked about Chase Elliott, I was talking about him and I basically said something to the line of, I don't know if he's going to get back to who he was. Like, he's still disappointing to me. I don't think he's running well. I don't think the team's running well. That's basically what I said about 3 weeks ago, I think it was. And since then, at Richmond, Martinsville, and now Texas, he's run a lot better. We were like top 10 to top 5. Top 5 at Martinsville, top 10-ish at Richmond. Didn't really get the finish at Richmond. Got the finish at Martinsville. And now wins at Texas. It's his first ever win on a 1.5 mile or an intermediate style racetrack in the next gen car. And well, I guess we should talk about him because it's quite interesting. As I've been saying, I don't think he's going to get back to what he was, but these last 3 weeks he actually has been running pretty well. Now, there's also, the benefit of waiting a day is you get to see the clips of press conferences. So Alan Gustafson was talking to the media, and he was kind of like disproving this notion that Chase Elliott struggles in the next gen car. He talked about how the average finish, the average running position over the course of the next gen car being here, that he's actually done very well and stuff. And Alan Gustafson will always stick by his drivers, so he's always going to be biased to a sense. I look at Chase Elliott, and there are some genuine factual information you could see there. Road courses. Is he as good at road courses in the next gen car? No. He was the most dominant driver I think I've ever seen on road courses in that Gen 6 era. Once he got, he was incredible. You go to a road course race in the Gen 6 car, the 9 car is the car to beat. He won so many races. He was just dominating races, even races he didn't win. He was dominating them. He was able to pass his way through the field. It was crazy what he could do in the Gen 6 car road courses. As soon as the next gen car comes around, no, he has never been the same at road courses. The car is different. The braking is different. So if you have 6 road course races in a year and you are nowhere near as good as what you used to be on the road courses, then of course you're going to see your numbers dip a little bit. So I think that's the biggest thing with Elliott is that he's been struggling at the road courses in the next gen car. And when I say struggling, I mean not winning. Like, he can still run top 5, maybe he can still run top 10, but he's not winning because he's not dominant anymore at the road courses. Then you have, for example, last year. And I will agree that the year before last year, well, he had 5 wins on the season. I'm pretty sure he made the championship race. And so he did very well. Last year, it was awful, but he had an injury, and I never think he came back 100%. He broke his leg. If I'm correct, it was his left leg, so that's the leg you use the braking for. I just think he just never got up and going. The team, over the course of not having him for basically 3 months of the season, lost out on a lot of development time, because usually, you can develop throughout the season. Car feels a certain way. You put a different driver in the car. Next thing you know, you have to change the setup. You have to change certain things to fit Josh Berry. Then Chase Elliott comes back in. He's a different driving style. Then the things you've learned over the last 3 months, you have to go back and figure out what do you want from your main driver and Elliott. Meanwhile, everyone else has already had the 3 months that you've been racing. So there's a lot that goes into it. I think there's a lot of like the car just wasn't good enough. But I also think that Elliott was not 100% in that race car. He didn't seem aggressive. He seemed very timid. He wasn't. I think Elliott struggles with dirty air. Just my opinion. A lot of people struggle with dirty air, but I think Elliott struggles with like getting around dirty air and stuff. So last year was a complete write-off, and then the start of this year comes. And you see William Byron and Kyle Larson leading a lot of laps and dominating races. And that's the thing. You don't see Elliott leading laps and dominating races. And so you have not just one, but two of your teammates in Larson and Byron. Byron was what Elliott was. When Larson got to Hendrick Motorsports, we all knew. Everyone knew. How'd you let Hendrick Motorsports get Kyle Larson? That's a mistake. He's going to dominate. He's going to be amazing. Other than last season when he had a little bit of a slump, Larson was incredible. Or was that 2 seasons ago? I got all my seasons mixed up now. I'm pretty sure that was last season. But Larson's been incredible. He's been leading races. He's been dominating. William Byron has taken the next step ever since last season. He's now been winning races. He's been dominating races. He seems he has more of a killer instinct. He seems more aggressive. He seems more entering his prime. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott had a terrible last season, and he's not leading races. He's not leading laps. Meanwhile, his teammates are. And, of course, Alex Bowman, you guys, a lot of you had yelled at me because I openly say I don't rate Alex Bowman. Listen, I will delete my channel, guys, the day that both Alex Bowman and Austin Cindric start dominating races and winning 5+ races in a season. If that day ever happens, I will delete my channel, okay? I'm sorry. I don't rate them. I apologize to Austin Cindric getting the stray shot, but I'm just trying to give you an example of people that I don't really rate. Austin Cindric is one of them. Alex Bowman is another one. I'm sorry. You now have 3 of your teammates, because Elliott has now won, leading races and dominating, and I just don't see Alex Bowman having that talent. I'm sorry. I know he took a lot of you old Jimmy Johnson fans, fan of the 48 car. I get it. You then jumped into Alex Bowman. He's not that good. That's coming from a Hendrick fan. He's not that good. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Don't get mad at me. But point is, Byron's dominating. Larson's dominating. Where's Elliott going to fit into this? And this season has been all about the Toyotas and the Chevys, specifically Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports. They seem to have just completely gotten a grasp on this season. They're just dominating races. They're winning races. The Fords are just off, like, Penske Racing and RFK, and the majority of them are just off. Stewart-Haas Racing is still off, to be fair. I don't know if they're ever going to come back because they've been off for like 4 years now. So it's really about, like, okay, you have to go up against your teammates and you have to go up against the main team, and then you have, 23XI in there and stuff like that. But you should be leading more races. Like, you should be able, in my opinion, you're Chase Elliott. We know your talent. You should be able to lead more of the races. You should be able to dominate more of the races. This wasn't even a race that he dominated. He did not have the fastest car this race. I think that was very clear. He got the lead with 30 to go, and Denny Hamlin, on the same tires as him, was able to overcome the dirty air and was able to pass him. That 11 car, I think, was a little bit faster than the 9. The 45 of Reddick was faster than the 9. His teammate, Kyle Larson, if he didn't have his wheel fall off coming off pit road, he was faster than the 9. I think there were drivers that were faster than Elliott, but Elliott, stuck around the top 5. He was able to get the lead on the restart, and so he was able to take a car that was not, in my opinion, a race-winning car, but he got it in the lead at the right time, and then it all came down to the restarts. And the restarts in this car, it's all about find the air, baby. Find clean air. And if you can get other drivers in dirty air, you will succeed. And that's exactly what happened. You have Chase Elliott going up against Denny Hamlin on one of the final restarts, and Elliott clears Denny Hamlin. And like a lot of the incidents we saw today, he starts sliding up because he's clear, so he starts sliding up a little bit. And as soon as the left front bumper of the second place car, the trailing car, gets into that dirty air, it is gone. Like the car just completely loses grip. It spins like a tabletop, and there's no saving it. And that is that. And unfortunately, I'm hearing like Ross Chastain come on the radio afterwards and be like, I hope they don't do that to us. And I'm like, do what? So now we can't slide up in front of someone because we're clear? Are you serious? Because now we know what the consequences are. Hey, if I slide up in the middle of 3 and 4 at Texas Motor Speedway, I'm going to wreck the car behind me because the dirty air is so bad. So because of that, I shouldn't do it. And it should be like frowned upon. No, there's nothing wrong with it. And the fact that like the drivers have to think about that now is a shame. Chase Elliott did nothing wrong to Denny Hamlin. The dirty error is so bad. I'm sorry. It just happens. You know, like, it is what it is. Happened to Tyler Reddick as well. Like, it's not a dirty racing move. It's just NASCAR's problem and the racetrack being terrible. So I don't think there's anything dirty about it. But the restarts keep going on. Elliott is able to get the lead, side drafting down the back straightaway. He wins the race. And does this provide momentum to him? I don't know. In my opinion, I still need to see more. And what I need to see more of is, if we're talking about, like, you want Chase Elliott to be Chase Elliott, well, he's a champion, and he was winning a lot of races. So, in my opinion, he needs to get back to dominating races. And I have seen that 9 car be the fastest car in the field before. He needs to get back to qualifying extremely well, which he has done recently. He needs to lead a lot of laps. I'm talking like over 50 or 100 laps in a race. And he needs to constantly put himself in race winning positions and kind of do what William Byron has been doing or what Kyle Larson has been doing. That's his challenge, you know? Once he starts doing that consistently, then I will say Chase Elliott's back. But I think one race win in these circumstances, at this track, with these situations, I don't think I can say Chase Elliott is back. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to show more. And, you know, Alan Gustafson still needs to bring faster race cars for him. They need to qualify better. They need to run better. Like, you can't be running, you know, 9th, like, on a consistent basis and say you're doing well. No, you need to be running top 5, running with your Hendrick teammates and Byron and Larson. You need to have a fast race car, stuff like that. So that's my opinion on Chase Elliott. As a former Chase Elliott fan, like, you know, I do want to see him do well. As a Hendrick Motorsports fan, obviously I want to see him do well, but I feel like I hold Elliott to a little bit higher standard than a lot of people. And I just don't want him just kind of being, you know, like a 1 or 2 or 3 race win a season guy, and that's kind of it. No, he should be like Chase Elliott at the end of his career should have 50 plus wins. You know, like, for example, Denny Hamlin has 53. You think about Denny Hamlin's career, Chase Elliott should have 50 plus wins. That's what I believe. And, you know, we're not even talking about guys like Earnhardt or Johnson or Gordon who, you know, in a different era have racked up 75 plus. It's not like that, but I think 50 plus in this era of NASCAR is really, really impressive. With the playoffs and the chaos, if you could get 50 plus wins, that's kind of what I expect of someone of the talent Chase Elliott being. That's my opinion. So that's one very long tirade on Chase Elliott, basically, and my opinion on that. Let's go to the race results on the race. So you have Elliott, Keselowski, and Byron. Chastain, who was running in second, gets wrecked by William Byron by accident. And again, this is kind of what I'm talking about with William Byron. I saw some criticism on Twitter before I went to sleep last night about, like, Byron intentionally wrecking people. I don't think that's the case. But what I do think is Byron is just being more aggressive. He has more of that killer instinct, and, you know, he's trying to get second place at the end of the race. Chastain gets tight coming out of turn 2, and Byron just, if he lifted there, he would have gotten passed by Keselowski, I think. So accidental wreck of Chastain knocks Chastain all the way down to 32nd place, which is very unfortunate for him. So Keselowski, Byron, Reddick, Suarez, Briscoe, Wallace. Briscoe and Wallace literally wrecked with like 100 and go, but they were fine. Dillon, Kyle Busch, Carson Hocevar ran out of the top 10 with Logano, Priest, Ty Gibbs, Truex, Buescher, Dillon, Bell, Graxon, Eric Jones, Danny Hemrick running out of the top 20. Larson comes back to 21st. Just a hell of a day once he lost to the 2 laps. He just was never able to get back and got involved in wrecks and everything like that. Jimmy Johnson finishes the race, by the way. He's in 29th on the lead lap, so shout out to Jimmy Johnson. Why am I praising Jimmy Johnson for finishing on the lead lap and finishing 29th? I don't know, but he's old now, and he's just kind of racing for fun, so fair enough. Denny Hamlin, after wrecking out from second place, finishes in 30th. And then the rest of your results: Bowman 37th, Barry 36th. A lot of these guys ended up wrecked. Nemechek wrecked, Blaney wrecked, Chastain wrecked, Michael McDowell wrecked, Barry wrecked, Bowman wrecked, Austin Hill steering issue. So yeah, everyone was basically back here because of wrecks. So that is the race situation. Next up is Talladega, which is always a lot of fun. So hopefully we don't see 50% throttle racing. Hopefully we see the guys going all out the whole race and not saving fuel. Hopefully that is the case, but there probably will be some saving fuel situations. And hopefully I'll be able to live stream again, guys, this week. I know I haven't been live streaming for the last month or so. Hopefully I get on and do some iRacing. I'm not 100% physically, but yeah, I haven't really been wanting to go on iRacing. iRacing has kind of been pissing me off as of late, so I've not been on there. But we will see if we can maybe do some live streams this week at Talladega Week and just have some fun. I just want to have fun on iRacing. I was trying to be very serious on iRacing, and then being serious just led it to not being fun. And that's the thing. If I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it. So that's kind of why I haven't been on iRacing and haven't been doing the streams. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the day. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, already. Subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Congratulations to Elliott. And next up is Talladega. Let's go. I like Talladega. See you guys later. Peace out.